First, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth in sincerity. And shout out to Yakim that's going out there on the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth, risking your lives to do so, as we know that they are tightening down what you can upload, what you can say, and everything else here on what we know as the World Wide Web, the internet, YouTube, which is our main form of communication. Because as we've been out here on the streets teaching, some of us in smaller places and all that, we're more or less feeding the elect now, as we are close to the time of them being sealed, as the four angels are now kind of moving their hand back and letting these things take place as we're being drawn further into this war. The war, it has lots of names. The third woe is coming quickly. World War III, or woe means war. World War III also has the name of Armageddon, which means mountain of troops, in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which means the valley of Yahweh's judgment. So these nations are being judged for their wicked and their iniquities, especially the whore, Babylon the Great, Amerikkka. And as you can see over the weekend and all that, everybody hates the whore because there's no reason to bomb Syria. Everybody knows the whore, Amerikkka, is behind ISIS, supports ISIS 100%. That the white helmets are really ISIS, are really nothing more than a goddamn Hollywood fucking joke. They make these bullshit fucking documentaries on fucking bullshit Netflix, by bullshit Soros, who is Amalek. So these Amalekites, the least of them shall draw them out. So these Amalekites continue to hit Syria, but they are failing. It's a failure to launch. It's kind of like that game Missile Command. When you're doing really good in the game Missile Command, you try to keep all the buildings and use the least amount of interceptors. That's what's going on now with Syria, and very few buildings have actually gotten hit. What they did manage to hit, was the actual evidence that Syria had that there was no chemical weapons attack. That's the place that the United States targeted, as well as the Hamas base, which is really going after Hezbollah. You see, it's really about a war with Iran. They want to pretty much weaken Iran by taking out Hezbollah in Syria. And Hezbollah is pretty much who Assad had invited in to protect her from the terrorists that the Zionist entity, the United Snakes, and all of its wicked evil has brought into their country. Staging protests and all that, which were nothing more than Hollywood fabrications, aka, your Free Syrian Army, ISIS, all of that, All they do is they change the name, they change the codes. But they're the same people that John McCain has met with. But what's happening, though, is their strikes on Syria were shit. They didn't fucking hit shit. Their missiles got shot down just exactly as Vladimir Putin had warned them. And this is great, seeing the so-called white man fail at everything he does. I pray that they fail more and more. I'd like to see these motherfuckers turn to junk. I can't wait to see what the Russian response is, as these others are losing it. Alex Jones is losing it. Chris Green is losing it because they want America to be spared. No. Third woe cometh quickly. Everybody shall hate the whore and burn her with fire. And I can't wait for that to happen. But some things have got to take place. First of all, we won't be on the street corners talking about this before it happens anymore. So the famine of the word will come in. Jacob's trouble will increase as the mark of the beast, the RFID implant, will become mandatory. And will be under martial law. All that's got to take place before the final finale, which we all can't wait for. So we're just kind of sitting back and, kind of enjoying this, watching Esau fail at everything he does, as Russia is fulfilling its role in this. So the end game is in play. So I'm going to read out of Ezekiel chapter 38. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, and a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Of course, it's talking about Russia and its allies that are protecting Syria now. You know, how their missile defense system was perfectly thwarted the United States, the whore, Babylon the Great, and Israeli state, Amalek. Persia, Ethiopia, and Lydia, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So, in other words, Magog is going to be protecting this region. And you can see that now, you know. Gomer and all his bands, that's Turkey. House of Togarmah, the north quarters, and all his bands with many people with thee. That's talking about the whole region of Turkey there. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto him, which is what Russia's doing now. So Russia's protecting this region, so the only way that they're going to really get into Syria is by a ground invasion. But wait, Russia's already there. They're going to have to fight Russia. So how are they going to do that? Through Jordan and Iraq, maybe? Because you can't land in Lebanon. That's protected by Hezbollah. You know, you can't land anywhere else. Oh, you think you're going to come through the Golan Heights? Yeah, well, that's some of the territory that was stolen. You know, they're going to have a hard time bringing in, but we know that they have been bringing in terrorists from the Golan Heights, and they've been going into Duma, which has now been liberated. Bashar al-Assad has won this war already, pretty much. And you see, we know who supported the terrorists, and we know who the terrorists are. The whore Babylon the Great, Amerikkha, you know. And everybody's seeing that this is, that, you know, they're detesting this place, you know. They despise this fucking place. They're burning the flags and all that, because they know that this place is about to go down, and they can't wait. They can't wait till this place be burned with fire. In many days that thou shalt be visited in the latter years, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword. That is, you know, these Edomites, and has gathered out many people which against the mountains of Israel, which we're that mountain, and mountain means, you know, can mean troops. It means of peoples, which have always been waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and shall dwell safely, all of them. So in other words, Yahweh, going to send Yahushai to gather us out of that. That's when the chariots come, and he gathers us out of that. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land. Again, you know, cloud is another metaphor for them ships. And lie thy bands and many people with thee. Thus saith Yahweh, it shall come to pass at the same time that thou shalt come to thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. That's another term for Amerikkha, Babylon the Great. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take prey, to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. So again, you know, that's when he destroys this place, Babylon the Great, and he's making it happen as they're losing. They're losing big time, but of course the Pentagon's going to tell everybody that it was a success. Yeah, it was a success that, you know, the missile command systems, pretty much, their missiles had failed, and Syria had met them. They had thwarted the attacks, you know, but we know this is going to get a lot uglier. We know that Damascus will eventually cease from being a city, but I believe that time happens when they find out that they can't get in any other way, so they do a nuclear strike on it, which that's what sets off this whole thing. You know, Chris Green and Alex Jones are hinting at a Russian cyber attack or something like that. Listen, Russia, Putin is going to respond, and there will be severe consequences. Of course, he's talking about that day when he destroys Babylon the Great in 1 hour. So this EMP that they're worried about, I believe that that's going to happen. Why would you do an EMP attack to take out all of this? you would do an EMP attack because you're about to destroy America in 1 hour. Think about that one. So they have no missile defense systems whatsoever. Their missile defense system is smashed because they have no fucking frequency whatsoever. Their jets won't even take off. This place will be laid desolate in 1 hour. That's what is coming. But before that, they're going to crash the currencies. You can see that with the tariffs and sanctions now put on Russia and China and all that, that this whole thing's going to crash. It started out this year with Toys R Us closing down, Sears, Kmart, Macy's, all them store closings, and, but it's going to get worse for that. The Phantom of the Word's going to come in. Martial law is going to be everywhere. You see that they did a March for Their Lives just right before this because it was a distraction from Syria because they were planning to try to attack Syria again. And most of all, Esau's been exposed. He's been made bare. Everybody sees America for the fucking piece of shit that it is. This place is nothing more than a place of terrorism. Has been terrorism from the very beginning. Because how did they get this place? They stole it. They inhabited the lands of Gad and dwell in his cities. This was once the land of Gad. But now it's Babylon the Great. And it shall come in remembrance no more. I can't wait for Russia to destroy this place. But in the meantime, I'm going to go out here and teach, Eventually, we won't be doing this anymore because we're not going to be standing out here while the fucking bombs are dropping. Now, man, we're going to dwell safely like the scriptures just said. We're going to be dwelling safely in the mountains while everybody else is catching them nuclear weapons. Because, for sure, Russia's going to destroy this piece of shit, America, and all these goddamn Edomites are going to burn with it. Shalom.